Here's something nobody talks about in personal development. The moment that things start working is often when we sabotage them the most. You have a great week, a real breakthrough, something shifts, and then, within days, you find yourself in conflict, overwhelmed, or somehow back to square one. And the story you tell yourself is, I always do this, but you're not always doing anything. You're responding to a very specific, very predictable psychological pattern. And this week's astrology has its fingerprints all over it. This is the week of August 16th through 22nd, 2026, the first full week after the solar eclipse in Leo. And the sky this week is specifically about the gap between the vision the eclipse showed you and the reality you're still living in. How to hold on to both, how to build a bridge, and how to stop dismantling the bridge the moment you've built it. Let's go through the week, and I'll teach you the self-development tool that meets each transit. Sunday, August 16th opens beautifully. Mercury and Jupiter are still close together in Leo. Venus in Libra is warming toward Jupiter, and the moon is in Libra. This is ease. This is the rose of peace in the middle of complicated life stuff, as one astrologer perfectly described it. The self-development application, this is a day to actually receive the good, to sit in the garden, metaphorically or literally, and let something feel genuinely okay. Women in a growth period often struggle with this. We're so wired for the next problem that we miss the present ease. Sunday says, let the ease be real. Practice receiving it. Monday, August 17th is more complex. Mars in Cancer squares Neptune in Aries, and this is the signature transit of the week. Mars wants action. Neptune dissolves clarity. Together, they create what I call the fog of good intentions. You know what you want to do, but actually doing it feels like moving through water. You get distracted by the dream of the thing instead of doing it. This is where the research on implementation intentions from Dr. Peter Gollwitzer at NYU becomes directly useful. His decades of research show that people who plan and when and the where of behavior, not just the what, are significantly more likely to follow through. Not, I'm going to work on my creative project this week, but I'm going to work on my creative project Monday at 7 p.m. at my desk. Specificity defeats the fog. Mars Neptune energy needs an implementation intention to function. Also, Monday, Mercury sextile Saturn. The thinking mind gets a reality check from discipline and structure. This is the practical anchor in an otherwise foggy day. Use it for organizing, planning, and building the specific schedule that gets you through the Mars Neptune fog. Tuesday and Wednesday, the moon moves into Scorpio and things get serious and deep. Scorpio moon doesn't want surface conversation, it wants truth. This is the midweek energy for doing the harder inner work, looking honestly at where you've been selling yourself short, where the pattern runs deep, where the story you're telling yourself about your own limitations is simply not accurate anymore. The Buddhist practice for the Scorpio moon is vipassana, clear seeing, not what you wish you were true, not what you fear is true, what is actually true. Scorpio moon paired with the eclipse aftermath is an extraordinarily powerful window for clear-eyed self-assessment. Friday, August 21st, brings Venus opposite Saturn, and this is the transit that most directly addresses the self-sabotage pattern. Venus opposite Saturn is a reality check on worth and relationships. It specifically surfaces where you are accepting less than you deserve because part of you still believes you don't deserve more. Where are your boundaries not holding? Not because other people push through them, but because you're not enforcing them. Where are you essentially collaborating in your own limitations? The therapeutic framework that meets Venus opposite Saturn most precisely is chemotherapy, developed by Dr. Jeffrey Young at Columbia. Shema therapy identifies core emotional beliefs about ourselves called shemas that's formed early in life and continue to drive self-defeating patterns. The most common shemas among high achieving women who self-sabotage are the defectiveness shema, I am fundamentally flawed. The subjugation shema, my needs don't matter as much as others. And the unrelenting standards shema, I am only acceptable when I'm performing at my highest. Venus opposite Saturn Friday activates these shemas. They feel like facts. They're not. They're old maps of old territory. Friday is the day to look at which shema is running and name it, not to fight it, but to see it clearly enough to stop mistaking it for the truth. Saturday, August 22nd, Venus forms a supportive aspect with Jupiter. After the hard reality check of Friday, Saturday brings the warmth back. Confidence, visibility, meaningful progress. The eclipse energy that's been unfolding all week finds its footing. This is the day to take one aligned action from the clarity Friday gave you. Here's the self-development arc of the entire week. Sunday, you receive the ease. Monday, you plan the specifics. Tuesday and Wednesday, you see clearly. Friday, you identify the shema. Saturday, you act from the new clarity. That is a complete personal growth cycle in just 7 days, mapped exactly onto the sky. All that we are is the results of what we have thought. The mind is everything. The Buddha. The Buddhist teaching for this week is about the mind as the architect of experience, the self-sabotage pattern, the upper limit problem, the shemas. They're all mind made, which means they can be mind changed, not instantly and not through willpower, but through consistent, gentle, honest attention to what the mind is doing and the deliberate practice of thinking differently. The sky this week is giving you the conditions for that attention. Use them. Here's the weekly practice. Just 3 things, one for each phase of the week. Sunday, spend 5 minutes actively noticing what's going well and then write it down. Let it be real. Monday through Wednesday, look for one thing you're avoiding. Write the implementation intention. When exactly? Where exactly? How exactly? Specificity defeats the fog. For Friday and Saturday, name one shema that's been running. I believe I am blank. Then ask, is this actually true? What evidence contradicts it? Write the contradiction down. That's the week. That's the work. And the sky is holding it all. All 3 of my books are linked in my bio. My Journey to Myself for the inner excavation work, AI side hustles for women over 40 for the income building, and the 2027 Phoenix Renewal Almanac for your year ahead, an astrological guide to personal development. And join me live every weekday at 5:30 p.m. Pacific for your Phoenix Renewal Hour, where we do this work together in real time. I'll see you there.